Hello, my name is Alvino. Here we will present about our AoL operating system about virtual machine. Next. So in my team, it consists of 3 people, which is myself, Alvino, Kannen, Vallian. Then there is my friend Darlyn Meinardy and Violetta Budianto. Next. So first, we choose about VMware and we use the latest version of VMware. So what is VMware? VMware is a software that helps divide a computer into several virtual machines that are capable of running its own operating system and functioning like a real computer. So VMware creates an abstraction layer over computer hardware. This layer allows the hardware of a single computer to be divided into multiple virtual machines that are capable of running independently like a real computer, even though it uses only a portion of the actual hardware. Next. So, VMware history. VMware was first founded in 1998 by Diane Green, Mendel Rosenblum, Scott Devin, Edward Wang, and Edward Bunyon in California, USA. It started as VMware Workstation, which allows users to operate multiple OS in one physical device. Before the company shifted to server virtualization with the release of VMware ESX Server. As of 2023, VMware is now acquired by Broadcom and changed its name into VMware by Broadcom. Next. Next is the key feature of VMware. First is virtualization of hardware, like in the explanation, VMware creates abstraction layer that allows one physical computer to run multiple virtual machines. Second, compatible with many operating systems, which is VMware support multiple operating systems such as Windows, Linux, macOS, and other on the same hardware. Third, resource allocation and management. VMware enable to allocate a specific amount of hardware resource to each virtual machine, ensuring efficient use of hardware resources. Fourth, the high availability. VMware automatically restarts the VM on other available server if there is a hardware failure to minimize disruption. Fifth, the centralized management using vCenter. VMware provides a centralized platform called vCenter to manage and monitor multiple VMs and physical servers. Lastly, cross-platform portability. Virtual machine can be moved across different VMware environments or cloud platform without compatibility issues. Next will be explained by my friend. Thank you.
Okay, so next we'll be moving on to the comparison between the VMware and Hyper-V. This is just to help understand why we chose VMware at the end. So I will not explain all of this, but I will explain the key points that I want to highlight. First is the ease of use. As we can see in the Hyper-V, it's much more simpler for the Windows-centric environments. However, for VMware, it is said it's more complex, but it's more flexible, so it's not only Windows-centric environments. And then for the OS support, it has been mentioned by my friend previously that VMware actually provides for Windows, Linux, and Mac OS. However, for Hyper-V, it hasn't support for Mac OS yet. And then for the fault tolerance, for Hyper-V, it's still limited, and for VMware, it's much more advanced. And as for the scalability and performance, both are excellent for the VMware, and for the Hyper-V, it's still good because as for the market share, it's still in a growing level. However, for the VMware, it's already the market leader. So that is why one of the reasons why we chose VMware over Hyper-V. And then next we have the VMware versus Oracle VM. So I won't explain this as well because in the next slide, most of this will be explained. So I will just explain about the most standout features from both. So from Oracle VM, it has a integration with Oracle products, robustness, and cost effectiveness. And as for the VMware, it has the highlighted of scalability, comprehensive management tools, and also its efficiency in handling large-scale environments. And as for the summarization of why we chose VMware is that there are several of disadvantages that I will explain right now. So the first thing is that it enhances resource utilization. So VMware enables businesses or the users to actually run multiple virtual machines or the VMs on a single physical server. So it optimizes the use of CPU, memory, and storage resources. That's why it's also cost efficient because it reduces the need of multiple physical servers and it lowers the infrastructure, maintenance, and IT operational costs. And then it's also flexible and scalable, so it allows easy scaling. It could be easily added or removed any VMs that we need. So it makes it ideal for varying workloads and also demands. And then it's also isolated and secure, where VMs are isolated from each other. Each of the VMs are isolated from each other, so it enhances the security and it prevents a system-wide attacks. Features like segmentation and encryption also helps add further protection. And then next is improve ROI, or ROI is the return on investment. So it maximizes the utilization of server resources and it minimizes the energy consumption by consolidating workloads, which requires only fewer physical servers. And then next is the high availability and redundancy. So because it's because it's redundancy, it has a high availability where it ensures minimal downtime through high availability features, with shifting workloads seamlessly during failures and with the uptime rate of 99.9%. Next is the simplified IT management. It has centralized tools like vCenter streamline IT operation, which help enables the workload balancing, better provisioning, and also the resource optimization. And then it also provides a quick and safe software deployment and efficient development and testing, where VMware creates an isolated, quick to deploy test environment, where it provides a safe testing environment. It allows businesses or the users to actually be able to install and test the software without the need to risk their real system. So it helps speed up the development and it reduces the hardware requirement, where VMware also helps to support software incompatible with the host system. And lastly is the disaster recovery and business continuity. It helps automate disaster recovery processes, ensuring a quick failover and uninterrupted operations. So that is all for the advantages and as of why we chose to choose VMware. Next is the tutor session that will be led by Fio.
Okay, thank you, Darlyn. Okay, now we will proceed to the tutorial section on how to use VMware Workstation, starting from the downloading process. Wait, I'll share my screen first. Okay. Of course, you will first have to download VMware Workstation, which you can find in this website, blogs.vmware.com/workstation, and so on. You can also find this link below because we'll put this on the description box below. And in the website, if you scroll for a bit, you will find two download options. The first one is VMware Fusion Pro Download on the left and VMware Workstation Pro Download on the right. So VMware Fusion Pro is actually for Mac OS. But since you're using Windows, so we will choose the one on the right. And once you click on the link, you will be directed to Broadcom's website, where you will be asked to sign in. I have already created an account. Okay, sorry. I have already created an account, so I can just log in. However, if you don't have a Broadcom account, you can register for one in here. So you see here, you can register for one before proceeding with this tutorial. So let me log in for a while, for a bit. Okay. So I've signed in into the Broadcom website, and after logging in, you will be greeted with several drop-downs like this. You will be greeted with several drop-downs, and here we can see that there are several VMware Workstation Pro versions for both Windows and Linux. Again, since the operating system we're using is Windows right now, we'll be choosing the newest version of VMware Workstation Pro, which is the version 17, and the one for Windows. And once you click on the drop-down, you can find several version patches of the software, and we will pick the most recent one, which is 17.6.2. Once you click on it, you will then be directed to the download page. If you have never opened the site before, there is actually a terms and conditions checkbox around here that you should read and click on first before downloading. Otherwise, you can click on the download icon here. You see the one with the cloud, and your VMware Workstation Pro will start installing. To make this tutorial shorter, I have already prepared the downloaded .exe file here, this one. We just have to click on it and a setup wizard. And a setup wizard will pop up on your screen. Like this. Okay. So first click on the next to continue to the terms and conditions page. And once you've, let's say that you've read everything, you can just click on I accept and click next again. Then you will just continue as usual. So this is the where you want to install the software. And then you can, this is for product updates in case you want to keep it for products. And then there's also shortcuts for the ones in desktop and the start menu programs folder. So I'll just click next. And then we can start installing your VMware Workstation. While we're waiting for the software to install, another thing we should prepare is our operating system that we're going to host using the virtualization software. I'll be using Linux, this one, released by Ubuntu, called Ubuntu Desktop 24.04.1 LTS. But you can use other versions if you want. However, if you want to try out the same version, you can also check out the download link in the description box below. And the file is quite large at around 5.8 gigabytes, so you should download it first as well, which I have already done here. The file format is also .iso. Okay, so now that the software has finished installing, we can proceed with the tutorial. So if you we'll first have to search for the VMware Workstation Pro. And this is how VMware Workstation looks like when you first open. There are 3 options for you to choose. So you can create a new virtual machine. You can open a virtual machine and connect to a remote server. Since you want to create a new virtual machine, we will click the first option, which is to create a new virtual machine. A pop-up will then show up, giving you 2 configuration options, typical and custom. We will be choosing the typical configuration, which is recommended for new users. However, if you have like specific configurations you want to do yourself, then you can use the custom one, but it is more advanced. So for now, we will just use the typical configuration. Next is installing the guest operating system, where there are several options we can choose. We can either install from a disk, which we do not have right now. We can install it from a disk image file or .iso, which we will be doing. And the last one is installing the operating system later. Now we are going to browse for the Ubuntu file that we have previously downloaded. Okay, this one. And so, okay, so you see Ubuntu 64 is already detected, and we can just click on next. Next, we can personalize our Linux. So, for example, we can put our full name. I will put my full name here, Violetta Budianto, and we can just put a username. So let's say PO, and I'll set my password and confirm my password again. And we click on next, and you can also name our virtual machine. And for now, I will name ours as new VM. And this is the location as to where we're going to store our virtual machine. And I will just leave mine to default and just click on next. Following this is the memory allocation of the virtual machine. As you can see, it is recommended to allocate 20 gigabytes for Ubuntu 64-bit. So we will be allocating 20 gigabytes exactly. And we are also given options on how we want to store our virtual disk. And to speed up the performance, I will be selecting the first option, which is storing in as a single file. And once you click next, there will be the hardware specifications that will be used for the virtual machine. And if you want to customize the hardware, you can click here, Customize Hardware. There's also this checkbox, which is to power on this virtual machine right after creation, which I allow. And so your virtual machine will operate immediately once it is created. So now we just click on Finish, and your virtual machine has been created successfully. can see here. Okay, now we just have to let it load for a bit. Okay, now that our operating system has loaded, we have that noise over there. We can set up our operating system according to our needs. So for example, the language here, I'll be choosing English. And we set up everything we need. So in here, we can install Ubuntu, we can try Ubuntu. You see, I'll just click next for most of this. And we can also create an Ubuntu account. So I will just create one. So for example, my name is, again, Vio, and then we can also name our computer. So in here, for example, I will name it as VMware Ubuntu. And my username, and for example, I'll set up my password. This is just like how you would usually do when you want to log in into a new Windows account. And this is just like a review of what you've done, and you can click install. And once you're done, this installing will take quite some time to load, so we'll just speed up the process. Okay. Now that it has finished installing, we should restart the virtual machine to allow Ubuntu to reboot. Okay, and now we can try logging in like this. So I will try to log in into my account. And you're done. So there are several things you can do, like additional configurations, but we're going to skip that for now. And once you finish, and you're done. So our operating system is ready to be used. Our computer is ready to be used. And the system works just like how you would operate a normal computer, meaning that you can do a lot of things such as browsing, searching. So there's files, there's App Center, there's help. This is also your CD-ROM or your floppy disk, the trash bin or recycle bin. And if you want to search, mostly we can use Firefox web browser. But you can see that currently the display is quite small, right? And you can change this in the settings. So you just have to right click and click on display settings. And we can change the resolution. So right now it's at 1280 x 800 or 16 by 10. And I will change this to our desired resolution. But mine, it will be 1920 x 1080 or 16 by 9. And we can just try to apply this and see, it becomes bigger. If you want to do more customizations, then you can do it in here. So for example, if you want to change your account, or if there's more display things you want to change. So for example, appearance. So if you want to change the background to something else, for example, they already have some default backgrounds that you can choose. I'll be using this one, for example. And you can also change the color. So for right now, there's orange, but you can change it to purple if you want, or pink. So basically, this is just like normal customization that you would find in your usual computer on Windows. And so our tutorial ends here. Thank you, and we can proceed to our closing.
Okay, that's it for our tutorial session and also for our AoL project presentation about VMware. Thank you for listening.